Dusty! This would have been faster if we went together! Welcome back to Extra Holiday Games. I'm Extra Holiday, and we are... I think there's at least one more side mission in this area, if I remember correctly. Oh, there's a challenge that I'm not sure I did. Also, someone to talk to over here. But yeah, no more side missions. Okay, let's go. Oh wait, no, there's a side mission all the way over here. All right, let's go this way. Ooh, that's a long ways. All right, let's go. Probably stop on that tower there for a little bit of Monica in my life. No, a little bit of recharge. That's what I mean. Also, there's gems here, so. Yeah. Come on. There it is. Okay. That's what we were waiting for. Okay. Next stop, that building. Just keep on flying. So serene, really. Just flying across through the power line. Come on. You know what we have to do here. Alright, make it here. Yeah. Ow. Probably could have canceled that, but we're fine. Don't actually take fall damage. It just looks like it hurts. These. It's worth noting. I don't think. I mean, I guess we've been getting talismans, but you don't get like gems or anything for completing side missions usually. It's interesting. It's interesting. Like the challenges you do. Missions you do not. Try this. Oh, be very easy to fall off here. Oh, like that. Luckily, gravity powers. Is there any more around here? No, okay. We're back. We did a full circle. Got it. Well, there's more up there, which we are going to get. Okay. There we go. And then there's the person to talk to, who's nearby some gems. So let's we grab those gems. Cool. Cool. Alright. There's more. I know I saw more gems. You know what? It's fine. We'll hold off on those. Hey, what's up? I know today's Thanks Day and all, but I'm just not in the mood to go present shopping. I need permission from the government to sneeze, and the garrison is always in my way. And the people who enforce the rules, they're all taking bribes. Maybe I should buy presents for the garrison soldiers. Seems like the city has its own share of problems. It's rough. It's rough, bud. But while we're here, let's go check this. I think we did it actually, but let's double check, make sure. What? Yeah, I remember this spot. Also, I missed the gem when I was here earlier. Oh, more than just a gem. Of course there's more gems to collect. Why wouldn't there be more gems to collect? There's always more gems. Oh. Some here as well. Uh-huh. More. Just not reorienting yourself there. Interesting. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let's just go up. Oh! Never mind. We're falling. We're fine. We are A-okay. Because we recover faster than we fall. I meant to check. I don't remember, but I've been meaning to check where the breakpoint is there in the Gravatar class. Because I'm fairly certain, well, I mean, there's definitely a point. But I'm fairly certain there's a point, even before level 20, where your gravity gauge becomes unlimited. Fairly certain there's a point in the levels before that where you can actually, it takes you longer to fall than you can fly. Like, you can fall to, and while you're falling, recover your gauge, like you can in this game. Recover your gauge enough that you can actually fly further, higher than you were before you fell. Right. It's definitely not at level 1, because at level 1 you've only got 30 feet of movement while shifting. So that's after one round you're done. You can't shift anymore until you recover gauge. Yeah, so yeah, you're gonna go up 30 feet and then fall, however fall. Well, I don't remember if I ever found like an actual official ruling on how far a person falls in. This is actually kind of important for the Gravatar class. How far a person falls in a single round. I think I remember seeing something that said 500 feet, which is quite a bit, but like, you have to remember that a round is 6 seconds in 5th edition and a lot of tabletop RPGs. So yeah, it kind of makes some sense that you would fall a long distance, right? Because IRL, you fall pretty fast, right? You accelerate at 9.8 meters per second, which, you know, means after 1 second you're going 9.8 meters per second. After 2 seconds you're going 19.6. You know, that sort of thing. So yeah, you fall pretty quickly in real life too, so it kind of makes some sense that 500 feet in 6 seconds, it makes some sense. But yeah, I'd have to look at the numbers to see where in the Gravatar class do you end up essentially falling slower than you would if you were using gravity powers, you know, based on how long. Because the thing about shifting in the Gravatar class is, as your level increases, your fall speed during shifting increases, and the amount of gauge you have increases. So you actually gain distance in 2 ways. Falling distance. And that's not entirely necessary. It wasn't entirely necessary, but it felt right to me. So that as you get better at using your gravity powers, you can make yourself fall faster, and you can make yourself fall for longer. And of course, by fall I mean fall both either up or down, or left or right, or whatever direction you need to. Essentially flying, but you know, falling with style. Like in this game. Once again. That's what I based the class off of, was not this game, but the first game. Man, oh man, there really are just a whole lot of gems around, aren't there? Man. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I unfortunately do not have... Wait, I do have my laptop right next to me. I could check, but like I can't check while I'm playing. So maybe I'll check between episodes where that breakpoint is. I'm gonna guess that it's probably like really late in the levels. Because if I remember right, the maximum gauge you get before it goes unlimited is 6, and then the maximum fall speed is like 50. So if you're falling... Actually, there might not even be a breakpoint between... or before level 20, because... I mean, falling 5 feet, or 50 feet for 6 rounds is going to get you 300 feet. And that's still less than 100 or 500 feet, which is presumably what you fall during a round under normal gravity. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if there's actually a breakpoint there. I almost feel like there should be. But like, I don't know that I could do that in any way that would feel balanced. I don't know. The Gravatar class still needs playtesting, so it could turn out that, you know, a temporary fly speed of 30 feet at level 1 just doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. And maybe I'll have to buff it. Who knows? I have already patched at least one thing that I've made, one piece of homebrew that I made, and that would be the snakeskin class, which I haven't explained it in this series, but it's essentially, if you're familiar with the Yanti, think of that, but think more like they look very similar to Yanti, but their anatomy is that they're actually a core surrounded by like a hive mind of snakes. Right? They still look mostly humanoid, but they are essentially like Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas, but with snakes instead of bugs. And you know, the bag of Oogie Boogie is basically like a... It's made of... It's essentially made out of the snakes that it's made out of, and you know, they have... Their skin is actually kind of scaly in a lot of parts, but you know, it's smooth enough in some parts that it looks like it might be a typical humanoid skin. It's conceptually, I think it's a very interesting race. The unfortunate thing is that they end up looking a lot like the Yanti, just on the outside. But I think there's also like more room for variation. Like, feasibly, like, I don't think any DM would have a problem with like a Yanti that has like a snake tail, right? As long as, you know, it didn't really affect the balance of the campaign or anything, right? If it was there just for flavor. But I feel like the snakeskin makes it kind of explicit that you could feasibly have that sort of thing, because I feel like snakeskin are a bit more malleable in appearance than Yanti are. Yeah, and all this to say that, yeah, I actually, because there was a snakeskin in Box of Beginnings, that would be Slizzy McQuizzy, our wonderful wild magic sorcerer. Because there was a snakeskin in Box of Beginnings, I actually got a chance to like figure out like, okay, what makes sense for this particular subrace of snakeskin? What's a little strong? What's a little weak? And I kind of determined that it would make sense to split the the what I call the slick skin snake skin. Yeah, try saying that 10 times fast. I split the slick skin snake skin into 2 different sub races, because in any race that I make, I also try to make sub races, because hey, all the base races, you know, the ones in the player's handbook, they all have sub races. Well, yeah, in some way. I mean, Dragonborn technically like doesn't, but you have different colors of Dragonborn, which is basically sub races. Yeah, if you think of like, you know, gnomes and elves and dwarves, they've all got their various sub races. So I'm like, you know, to keep parity with the standard races in the game, you know, the default ones, I feel like there should be multiple versions of whatever race I make. You know, multiple sub races to them. So that's why I tried to. Anyway, so all that to say, yes, I split the slick skin snake skin into 2 different races. You got the slick skin, which kept the name and kept the ability to molt, which is essentially like, I based the entire race off of Orochimaru from Naruto. Because, spoilers, he is actually just a collection of snakes. But yeah, and the slick skin snake skin specifically, I based off of the molt ability in that sub-race. I based off of his ability to basically like spit out a copy of himself. And I thought, wow, that could be... And also, like, before Box of Beginnings started, I was talking with the guys about D&D, right? The guys in that party. You know, I'd talk to them occasionally about D&D because, you know, I worked with them, and, you know, you get chances to chat every once in a while. I was talking with Caleb specifically, and he was talking about, like, maybe playing a monk and having... He was like, oh man, I want an ability where I can just, like, automatically slip out of a grapple. I was like, you know what, that's possible. And I had the idea to make that like a racial ability for the snake skins. And so, yeah, that's what molt does. It basically, you can shed various status conditions by essentially pulling yourself out of your own mouth. Which is... yeah, it's a fun ability, and Slizzy actually did use it at one point. In fact, I'm happy that he did. Granted, I think I had to remind him that he had the ability, but I'm glad he did, because I kind of planned that encounter specifically so he could use it. So, I am glad that he ended up using the ability. But yes. So that's the ability that the slick skin snake skin kept. And then the other ability they had, which I just called Expel Snake, which is effectively where you can like shoot out just like a small snake, and you can have it act as your eyes and ears. It kind of works like, if I remember right, it kind of works like the one of the spells where you can have a companion. I think it might be like Find Familiar. You can kind of use it as a familiar for a little bit, where it can scout things out for you, basically. Because it's a snake, it can, you know, sometimes maybe even slither under doors, you know. But yeah, I moved that one over to the loose form snakeskin, and also gave the loose form snakeskin another one of Orochimaru's abilities, which is shapeshifting. I'm still not... I can't... Well, I mean, I posted it in the Discord, so there's some finality to it. But I'm still not 100% on how limited I want the shapeshifting to be. I think I decided that, like, it wasn't really worth having if it was going to be super limited. Like, because the thought in my head was either I'm gonna have it so that they can turn into whoever they want, basically the same as any other shape-shifting race in 5e or 5e adjacent games, which is basically like, yeah, you can turn into anything that's not, or that has the same basic configuration of limbs and is roughly the same size as you. So I was going back and forth on whether I wanted to do that or whether I wanted to make it so, like, no, you always look like a snake skin. So you could shapeshift, but you can't shapeshift into something that's not a snake skin. I think ultimately I went with turning into anything, because ultimately it feels a little underwhelming otherwise. But that might change. That's another thing that might be updated. And I don't remember... Oh, I think... I struggled for the longest time with what ability to replace that feature with on the slick skin, snake skin. And I think I just gave them proficiency in like acrobatics or something, if I remember right. It's not like a super exciting solution, but it was the best I could think of. To just give them proficiency in a skill. Because that is something you can do with races. You can give skill proficiencies and not have it be weird, like gaining skill proficiencies from a certain level of a class or something. Which, you know, that is kind of a thing that I did with Scholar, actually. Scholar can learn skill proficiencies at any level. Given that they studied the right thing anyway. But anyway, point is, I have patched my stuff before. Because, again, most of the stuff I've made, most of the homebrew I've made is hasn't been tested. There are some things that have, some things that haven't. But hold on. Okay, hold. Don't think that's supposed to look like that. Whoops. A little bit of a goof there from the devs of this game. It's fine. If you don't know, the reason that happens is a lot of the times they only put a texture on the outside of a thing. So, because usually that's the only part you're going to see of it that a player would see. So, like if we're talking about all these buildings, they probably only have a texture from the outside. If you were to go inside the building somehow, like clip into it, you would see that you could just see straight out because there's no reason to texture the inside of it, inside surface, if, you know, the player's never going to see it. But in cases like that, where you've got a little bit of awkward geometry, then sometimes, player ends up seeing it. It's a little jank, but it's fine. I think you see that phenomenon most when in like speed runs, when they clip through walls and stuff. Yeah, it's just a little... But I think in that context, right, you're breaking the game already, so... I mean... If you're really laying on a dev for you know, not thinking of something that people end up finding out in speedruns, then I don't think that's especially reasonable, considering how many times speedrunners play through a game and how many of them are like specifically trying to break the game. Especially with really popular games, like, you know, like your Mario Odysseys. That's a real popular one for speedrunning. Like that is... I could understand if speedrunners, like, your QA can only do so much in finding those sorts of things. So, I think it's fun. Like, that one, the one that I just found there is a little obvious, but it's fine. Immersion not totally broken. So we're good. Oh, there's more. This has turned into another one of those gem collecting episodes. It's fantastic. Always love them. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these episodes. I feel like, you know, I do my best to keep it entertaining even when things aren't. The game itself is not super entertaining. But like, I don't know. I hope I do a good job, but who knows? Oh, I mean, you know, because you're the one watching this. And you're the intended audience, probably. So like, if you want to let me know, there's a comment section you can go to, write out stuff if you want. But yeah, otherwise I got no idea. I got no idea whether I am successful in being entertaining even when the game is not giving me much to work with. Alright, oh, yep, more gems there. Cool. Let's go get that. And there's more gems there, there. I actually stopped it in the middle of its recovery. I think that's the first time I've done that. Usually it's like it's recovering and then, you know, it recovers so fast, you know. Like once the gauge starts filling, it doesn't take long to fill up all the way. So it feels like a pretty rare occurrence that I actually... Oh, hold on. Gotta get out of here. Okay, cool. It feels like a pretty rare occurrence that you actually catch it while it's filling. Okay. Any more gems that we're looking? Well, yep, over there. Alright, okay, alright, cool. Honestly, if you don't enjoy these types of episodes, you can at least take solace in the fact that me collecting all these gems now theoretically means that it won't take me as many tries to do stuff later. Because, you know, theoretically the stronger cat is, the easier it is for me to beat the game. So, you know, it's there's still some good for you too, even if you're not enjoying these episodes in particular. Like, I'd never recommend you skipping an episode or anything, but no, I've definitely done that. I've definitely told people, like, yeah, you don't need to watch this episode. Because you know what? There's some episodes where I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't be interested in watching this. But someone might be, so I don't just, you know, ditch the episode entirely and not post it or anything. I will take some steps to make sure that whatever I post is entertaining. But also, I'm also the type of person who just likes to see the whole story when it comes to people's playing through games. So I like to see. I don't necessarily like when stuff is cut out. So to appear in the past, to appease both, I have tried to like post anything that is especially grindy as a separate episode, like an extra episode. But that also takes more time. So yeah, if I'm putting out a normal episode plus an episode that's like 4 hours of grinding, like I did once or twice with Pokemon Sword, it takes a while. It takes a while to do that sort of thing. Granted, I can do things to make it easier, like in the grinding episodes I just don't talk. Like that's happened once or twice. I call those off-mic episodes. And just have it there for anyone who wants, like, Pokemon Sword grinding ASMR, something like that. Or, you know, people who want to see the whole experience of grinding, even if I'm not talking over it. And you know, and it's not like you know, I'd be doing a Nuzlocke and doing an off-mic episode and have anyone faint while I was grinding or anything. That's definitely never happened. And if that did happen, I definitely wouldn't just go into the next episode acting like it didn't happen. Nope. That's not a thing. Anywho, we're playing Gravity Rush right now. We're not playing Pokemon, so let's not talk about specifically those episodes of the Pokemon Sword Nuzlocke that were off mic. Let's not talk about that. Yeah, I feel like we're finally getting the last of the gems here. I don't. Alright, I'm just going till I don't see any more, right? At this point, I think I don't see any more. So we're gonna upgrade. We're gonna upgrade before we end this episode. We were going for special attacks. We want longer duration, please. And longer duration again. Spiral Claw now has super long duration. And then we've only got 7k more gems till we get the thing we're actually trying to get. Okay, so we are actually going to do that last side mission next time. But as for this episode, that's a wrap. Man, I sure can talk.